Hey, what's up guys, my name is Zan and I wanna start off today's video by saying thank you for 204 subscribers. When I made my last video it was 192 and now when I saw that I have 204 I had to make a video. But let's get started with the video. So we're gonna start off with a blank scene. So I'm gonna delete all of this. This is my default setup for doing shader work and stuff. And we're just gonna add so to show off our gold shader we'll use just a simple coin, and by simple I mean very simple. You can model the coin however you want, but I'm just gonna use this. Let's apply this thing, rotation and scale, go to shading tab, and we have this. Let's go to revert tab. Now we can start making a shader. Let's create a new one, name this 2D gold. And we don't need this thing, we just need a texture coordinate, which was right in the top. Texture coordinate, we need color ramp. Now we're gonna use the reflection aspect of this. If you watched my glass shader video, I explained why we're using this. We can also use lights in this, but lights are dependent. So when we use a light in a shader, the material is dependent on where you place the thing. Where you place this object. For example, if the object is here, if you move it here, the material will be different from what it will be in this position. So that's why we're just gonna use everything within the shader. We won't be using any lights outside the thing. We can use it, but for this we're just gonna stick with this everything in the shader. And now we can see that we're getting a nice reflection here. And now we can just use some fancy stuff with this and make this into a good thing. I like this nice gradient, but for 2D it has to be flat. So we're gonna duplicate this, we're gonna plug this into that, and if we preview this, we can set this to either constant, or we can let's just stick and do the constant thing, or we can just close this up and then make it look like a nice shader. And now we have this thing. Let's combine these two, and we should have, now we don't want to mix this, we just want to add this on top of this color ramp. So we'll just do add and set it to full opacity. Now we have something like this, and instead of this being a flat gradient, I just want to stylize this, and maybe let's do a cross hatch thing with this, which is very easy to do. We're just gonna use a wave texture for this. Wave texture, set this to constant by color ramp, set this to constant. And if we do this, actually we don't want these lines to be this far apart, so maybe we can do a scale check. Yeah, and now we can just move them apart. And now we want to mask this texture wherever this texture is going to be. So let's, instead of doing this with mix, let's move this up, and we're gonna add these two, but for the factor we're gonna use this this material as a mask, or this map as a mask. So if we preview that, now we should see a cross hatch. If it's confusing, all we're doing is we're mixing these two shaders together like this. If I disable the mask, we'll have this wide lines everywhere, but we just want to limit this to this plane. So what we can do is we also want to invert this, because we want the wave to be on top. And let's set this to multiply. Oops, not multiply. Let's set this to mix, not mix. I don't know. Okay, let's just set this to add for now. And now we only want this wave texture to be where this mask is. Well, I'm calling this mask, but it's actually just a map. And we're gonna plug this into factor, and okay, we were doing the right thing before, so we'll invert it one more time. Yeah, okay, now we have a nice stylized shader thing. And now we can use this slider to to limit this wherever we want. We can make it prominent and stuff like that. And if you want to do a nice cross hatch for this, we can maybe duplicate this wave texture, and if now this is on x-axis, we can set this on y-axis, and we can copy this, plug it here, and mix these two together. And now we have a nice color ramp, a cross, whatever it is, cross hatch thing. And now we have this, but I don't really like this, but you can go with this if you want. But I just like the singular thing. And there you have it. So this is a basic tutorial thing, and we also want a rim. So we want a texture here as well, like on these rims. So to do that, we can either bevel this, well, like Control B, or we can use a Fresnel shader, which was basically what I used for glass shader thing. Color ramp, oh sorry, Fresnel or Fresnel. And if I mix this in, if I use a color ramp with this, plug it in. The reason I'm using color ramp with everything is because I want to control these later. That's why I'm just starting out with the color ramp. So if we mix this in, and maybe set this to add instead of mix, what add does is it just eliminates all of the black color from it. So now we can just drag this in and have a nice, if we just preview that, okay, it's not on top of this. Maybe it shouldn't be on top of this, I don't know, but okay. And now we have a nice shiny material which is 2D, but it's in black and white. To turn this into color, we can do two things. We can either just use a color ramp and map the colors in here, or we can do the colors individually. So instead of, you know, having this black and white, we can set this to color, and we can change this to a color, change this to a color. But let's just go try to do this, and we'll see if it works or not. So for the basic shader, I just want the black color to be a golden yellow color, which is about this color, and I want this to be a very bright yellow color. Okay, now the values are not working, and we can't even see the cross hatching, so we want to make it prominent. Oh, okay, that's why it was doing a weird thing. And now we should see it a bit better. Still not seeing it, so let's make this more prominent like that. Okay, now we're seeing it. Okay, let's do one more band. Oh yeah, so we want this to be a bit more smooth. So instead of doing a gradient, we can just duplicate this, plug this into that, and we can move it back a bit. We can move this back, and let's make it gray, because gray means transparent. And now we can just add these two together, and we can plug this into here. So if I preview that, we should have a nice band, and we don't want to make it this gray, but let's preview the main color material and then make it gray, or you know, whatever we want. And I also want this to be a bit more on this side. Okay, yeah. So I like this nice gradient here, so it looks like 80s texture, you know. Okay, now we have a base texture here, and what we want to do is let's take this away from the gray side. Well, let's just, you know, it should be right here somewhere, and let's make this a bit more grayish to, you know, work with the tone. And now we can add colors in between to make a bit of variation. So I want to shift the hue to maybe a reddish tone, if it works. Okay, I don't know, man. Okay, does this look like a gold shader? I mean, it kinda does, I mean. Yeah, okay, let's add the bevel shader here as well, a bevel thing here as well. And if you want it to be controllable, we can just do this with a, okay, the only problem here is the colors, so let's just try and fix the colors, and then we'll have our shader done. And maybe this color should work. Yeah, I mean it works nice, doesn't it? I like this. So we don't want that, and we want this. Okay, we have a nice gold shader, and now I can try this out on different objects. So let's do the monkey, which is a tradition to do to test out any materials. And on materials, let's switch this to the gold shader. Okay, so it's not working nice because we don't have auto smooth on. So okay, now that I'm looking at it, there's one thing missing, which is a core shadow for this. So we're gonna try to do a nice core reflection with this. So let's go back to our shader node. We can use a mapping node to maybe change. Okay, let's do a color ramp, and this should do us a nice. Yeah, we can use a rotation for this. Yeah, okay, I like this. Okay, now we can work something out. Yeah, okay. And now we can just reduce it to this color, and we can just plug it in. Maybe do one more rotation on this. Maybe do a Z rotation. And no Z. Let's do a Y rotation on this. And yeah, okay, I like it. And now we can just add this over that, and now we have a color to work with. So if we go in between here, and we can map this color to any color we want. So we're gonna go with a darker color for this, but not this dark. It has to be a bit dark. Okay, now it's looking nice. Yeah, okay, so that's the gold shader. That was a lot of fiddling around to make it work, but okay, now let me just summarize this for you. So what we're doing is, okay, we're starting off with a basic reflection shader with the color ramp plugged in, and we have this reflection, and then we're combining these two reflections together to get this nice gradient, and then we are combining this and this together here using this as a mask, so that it only appears where there's this tone, and then we can increase the scale of it to make it nice, or however you want it. And then we're adding this reflection rotated by like 90 degrees to get this. So this is a secondary reflection, and combining all of these together we have this thing, and then we're just using color ramp to map in the colors of this, and so just like this we have a nice gold shader. Okay, so I forgot to record this part, but you can control the reflections. But so if, let's say you don't want the reflections to appear on the back of this guy, you want it to be on the front, so you can easily control this by using this mapping node and plug this in here. And now you can use the rotation, maybe Z rotation, to set the reflections however you want. And you have to remember that remember to plug it between reflection, and if you want to control the wave, you can use the same thing for the wave as well. So but we don't want to mess with the wave or anything. Now you can use these rotation controls to adjust the reflections however you want. And you can also control it by this object thing, but we're not gonna mess with that. So this is what we have for the final thing. And I'm saying a lot of stuff in the final video. I'll just cut all of that out and just keep a nice original version. So I'm just gonna peace out. Thank you. And that's a tutorial, and thank you again for so many subscribers. I just want a good community to talk with, so if you can be so kind and leave a comment down below, like what you liked in this video, or what else you want to see, or and stuff like that.